Hello, my name is Paul Dubal, and I'm a fellow of the Chartered Governance Institute and a governance practitioner and corporate secretary of 25 years plus standing. And the purpose of the video today is to talk about my one-day conflict resolution in the boardroom. So a little bit more about who I am. As I mentioned, 25 years of governance experience working with various organizations, both in the consulting and also in industry, particularly financial services. And one thing that really interested me about working with so many different and diverse boards over my career is that I experienced so many different types of behaviors, things that could really have been dealt with much more productively had some various techniques been used. And I got into interest in emotional intelligence because that is something which really underpins the behavior of directors, and used in the right way can really support the vibrancy of the board's decision-making processes. And so my one-day course is designed to really speak about how conflict is used in the boardroom. It often conjures up these visions of antipathy, arguments, and infighting. And so we regard it with a degree of fear, something, I guess, to be avoided. However, of course, if conflict is managed in the right way, it can be a source of enlightenment and creativity, and a chance to consider alternative and innovative approaches to problem solving. So this one-day session is designed to identify some of the common sources of conflict that occur in the boardroom, why they occur, and what they can be done to ensure healthy conflicts that upgrades the vibrancy and diversity of the board's decision-making processes and accompanying debates. And of course, this in turn will lead to comprehensive, high-quality decision-making that can take an organization forward with confidence. So the session focuses on why conflict is all around us and how we can reframe it to use it as a powerful tool in the boardroom. We examine the mindset and the ground rules to promote healthy debate, and examine the key roles of the board secretary and the chair in creating the culture, the environment, and the systems to facilitate and resolve board conflicts. And this includes analysis of the conflict resolution strategies that can be used to create a unified and high-performing board that supports every decision made. So although the board acts as a collective, the personal attributes of each director as individuals are an important ingredient to its ultimate success. So we identify and consider personal skills, conduct, and attributes that are needed to contribute to the strength of the board, particularly from an EQ perspective. So participants will walk away with a different perspective around conflict in the boardroom, able to reframe it in a way that considers the potential benefits of a well-managed conflict. They'll be clear on the personal attributes required to manage and resolve conflict for the chair, the secretary, and individual directors, and to go back to their boards with some clear strategies to resolve conflicts and promote healthy debate. So who will benefit by attending? Well, certainly corporate and board secretaries, but also board and committee chairs, individual directors, and indeed boards as a collective, and any senior or executive team member or governance professional that interacts with the governance function and or the board or organization. So let's look at the agenda for the session. So first of all, we talk about what is conflict and why is it all around us? We set the scene because conflict is ever present and we need strategies to deal with it, not to shy away from it. What does conflict look like in the boardroom? Well, we consider the important element of tension in the boardroom. We consider the sources of conflict. How can it originate in the first place? And when does conflict become unhealthy in the form of toxic behaviors, personal or historical tensions, and how that can impact decision making? We consider conflict resolution strategies for the boardroom, the strategies for avoiding conflict and processes. We clarify the board versus the management role, establishing orderly processes, recognizing the importance of the board agenda, meeting protocols, and proper information flows. All of these things can be used to minimize conflict. And of course, the importance of board culture, regulating behavior and creating the right conditions for effective debate, and how to create and maintain that effective board culture. Managing conflict when it arises, we have to recognize that it's inevitable that it will happen at some point, and we need to have the tools to address that productively. But it's not just inside the boardroom, it's also outside the boardroom, the power of informal team building. We examine the role of the chair in managing conflict, setting the ground rules, the attributes for effective meeting management, diplomacy, tact, emotional quotient, authority, relationship building, communication, and composure. How the chair gains consensus across the board members and collective efficacy, ensuring that board directors are committed to the outcome. We consider the role of the board secretary in creating the conditions for a healthy boardroom conflict, creating that right infrastructure, the skills matrix, the board evaluation, induction, board support, the logistics, the documents and meetings, the board mandate, director's code of conduct, board minutes, conflict of interest checks. Also, the corporate secretary's contribution to developing the culture and the strategies to resolve conflict, building trust by working with the chair, observing meetings and providing feedback, board composition, the need for a diverse board, and board dynamics to avoid groupthink and interlocking boards, the importance of continuing professional development, mediation and coaching, and managing the directors. And we consider the skills and attributes of the company secretary: humility, integrity, discretion, again, emotional quotient, their status as a servant leader. We consider the personal attributes and conduct of individual directors, understanding the role and their fiduciary duties and liabilities, the implications if they don't speak up, and taking accountability for themselves and for each other. And the attributes, such things as empathy, active listening, assertiveness, optimism, mutual trust and respect, and humility, leaving your ego at the door, and a mindset of negotiate, not confront. And of course, the art of asking the right questions as a director and having the courage and the fortitude to address boardroom issues, and how as directors, they can develop and grow into their role. And finally, we'll have an open discussion and some practical examples of conflict resolution in the boardroom. So it promises to be a lively and invigorating day and highly interactive as well. One of the key focuses is around experiential learning for attendees to talk about their own experiences, and as a group we consider strategies and answers to group problems. And so I'll be very happy for you to join me on this one-day session. It should be highly interactive, lots of fun, but most importantly, a very valuable learning experience for anyone that deals with boards and board members. Thank you so much.